Yes, I realize this video is later than your one night stand's monthly visitor, but it'd be kinda dumb if I made a top 10 best rock albums video and didn't put out a metal one, considering this is the heavy Haystack and all. Greetings, hard and heavy music fans. I'm Dante, you're watching the Heavy Haystack, and today I'm talking about my top 10 metal albums of the year 2020. While 2020 is a year we would rather forget with the plague, show cancellations, and Tiger King, new excellent music still came through to keep us company while we slowly rot in isolation. While many bands opted to postpone their new releases until they were able to tour on them, many others still decided to release new albums in the year, and I've got a diverse array for you in this video. If it's hard to nail this list down to an even 10, and I know I'm leaving off some notable albums, any bands you think I snubbed you can mention down in the comments. But before I get into the main list, here's some honorable mentions. Representing the underrated neo-thrash genre, Havoc and Warbringer each produced some of the best work they ever have back in the spring. Industrial metal got to shine with the Static X reunion record Project Regeneration Volume 1, and Oomph side project Die Krita with Panopticon. Anonothrok took their blackened extremity to new heights with their Endarkenment album, and Metal Deathers Morris Principium S just barely missed the list with their 7th album. Ensiferum traded in their Viking metal for pirate lore and Thalassic, and Green Carnation reunited for the underrated Leaves of Yesteryear, some of the best prog metal 2020 produced. And with that out of the way, onto the main list. Hot off the heels of their previous record Samsara, Welsh death metal act Venom Prison released Prime Evil, an album of mostly re-records which breathed new life into their 2 early EPs, coupled with 2 new songs that show the band flirting with melodic territory. Having listened to the original EPs, it's amazing how just better production helped flesh out these songs and helped showcase the talent that Venom Prison had from their inception. It'll be interesting to see where they go with their next record and how they'll balance this increasing interest in melody with their visceral death grind attack. At number 9 are metalcore veterans August Burns Red with their album Guardians. While they didn't rock the boat too much with their established sound, they still stand tall amongst the metal pack with their technical brand of metalcore and enthusiasm for flip-flops. They did add in more melody than their usual on cuts like Lighthouse and album favorite Paramount, showing they still have a wealth of musical ideas to mine despite their long career and consistency of style. Coming in at number 8 is Oceans of Slumber with their self-titled record. While mid-career self-titled albums tend to be a bad omen, Oceans of Slumber break that trend with what's possibly their best album yet. A finely polished example of their sound which features soulful progressive metal blended with the sound of death doom. Equal parts Opeth, Catatonia, and Paradise Lost, all while keeping a style uniquely theirs. The adorned, fathomless creation shows the musically heavier side they're able to convey, while tracks like A Return to the Earth Below are heavier in emotional weight and bearing of the soul, and showcase frontwoman Cami Gilbert as one of the best voices in all of modern metal. Speaking of powerful voices, in my number 7 spot we have Unleash the Archers with their 5th album Abyss. Power metal tends to suck. A lot. It's cornier and cheesier than a corn cob dipped in a bucket of melted Swiss. But Unleash the Archers scrape off some of this cheese with skillful songwriting, a strong dash of melodic death metal influence, and the charismatic vocals of Brittany Slays, who besides having more than enough range to hit those heavy metal high notes, has a distinctive power and force behind her vocals like a Valkyrie's cry when she goes off into battle. And on this concept album that continues the story of their previous record Apex, they cover a lot of musical ground such as the progressive leaning title track, the shredding tempos of Faster Than Light, and even go full 80s rock and roll with Through Stars, which is cheesiness done right. Now it's time to get weird. In the 6th spot we have Igor with 3 R's and their album Spirituality and Distortion. Experimental avant-garde metal. And if you don't know what avant-garde means, it's just what critics call stuff that's so weird that we don't have a good name for it. In Igor's case, they have some traditional extreme metal instrumentation mixed with electronic break beats, Baroque music, Eastern European stuff, accordions, operatic vocals, growls, you name it. Now the band's secret to their qualities is that despite having so many unusual tools in the box, it's arranged in a pretty accessible way. Song sections repeat enough to catch the vibe on first listen, and are instantly engrossing with their odd quirkiness. And Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse is featured on a track with Nintendo Core video game sounds and flexing his high screams more than his usual, and that's always dope. At the number 5 spot is Trivium with What the Dead Men Say, and this run of career high mark albums continues. The Sin in the Sentence was a 2017 Album of the Year contender, and this record follows that pattern yet again. Drummer Alex Bent continues to be a standout, allowing Trivium to release one of the most aggressive and technically skillful records of their career, while their adeptness for melody continues to shine. They also continue to combine metalcore, melodeath, thrash, black metal, and more into a sound that's uniquely theirs, with this being a contender for the best record Trivium has ever done. At number 4 is progressive death metal act Black Crown Initiate with Violent Portraits of Doomed Escape. With this album, the band blends blackened death metal and post-metal, along with prog and gothic elements to create a unique sound with interesting melodies and a dark atmosphere, while still remaining plenty heavy. Their style bears some comparisons to the likes of Opeth, while also not sounding like them much at all. There's heavy growls played over unorthodox rhythms, along with soaring and melodically sung melodies, and is a favorite among the death metal pack of this year. Getting to the top 3, we have Death Doom Pioneers Paradise Lost with their record Obsidian. Always consistent with their quality, this record harks more to their 2015 Death Doom Return record, The Plague Within, rather than their previous, more straightforward record, Medusa. With this one having a near equal balance of their weighty, riff-focused doom and their regal, melodic gothic metal. The powerful march of Fall from Grace is among their best works, while the more up-tempo Ghost proves yet again that they can do more than the established low and slow ethos of doom. And this record stands tall among the metal pack, proving why Paradise Lost has maintained a strong career that has lasted over 3 decades at this point. And the number 2 spot is The Ocean with the syllable-heavy Phanerozoic 2, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. Good luck remembering the song titles of this one unless you have a degree in geology, but this album serves up a magnificent and diverse helping of the band's brand of sludgy, progressive post-metal. This record is complex in its song structures and compositions, but fairly accessible in its actual instrumentation, making for an album that's easy to get into and enjoy while staying stimulating for the most discerning music snobs. Each of its 8 tracks offers something distinct for listeners, from grandiose progressive metal buoyed by orchestral elements and sweeping arrangements to chill instrumentals that produce somber emotion. The Ocean sound is one that's hard to put into words, but is a highly recommended journey for heavy music fans to embark on, with this album being damn near a masterpiece. And finally, in my number 1 spot is an album that has been a number 1 for many other metal critics in 2020, and that's Code Orange's Underneath. The band took everything that worked on their 2017 breakthrough record Forever, enhanced it, and even added some new elements. The band have sharpened their brand of industrial metalcore with more brazen compositions and technical proficiency, making their heavy tracks much more dynamic. And while they previously only dipped their toes into their more accessible rock and alternative metal tendencies, they've dove in full force on this record and pulled out some of the strongest songs of that style in a while, with radio-ready tracks that don't sound like rehashed dribble, with songs like Sulfur Surrounding and Ottoman Carbine. Few bands are as openly ambitious as Code Orange, but so far their walk is matching their talk on their quest to become the leaders of heavy music's next generation. It's anybody's guess where they go from here style-wise, but you'll be hard-pressed to find an album of recent memory that simultaneously sounds as innovative, polished, and engaging. And there's my list. What did you think of my top 10 metal albums of the year 2020? Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the Heavy Haystack if you want to see more videos similar to this one. Peace, love, music, and I'll see y'all next time.